right, everybody. We are back Tuesday night. Paul Russo with you here for Fresh Takes with Russo Felice. And unfortunately, once again, Nick's back in studio this time. Nick returns. Obviously, like I said, work things happen from time to time. They happen. But Nick, glad to have you back. Hope you're doing all right. Been a few days since I've seen you, so hopefully everything's good.
Thanks for stepping up to the plate last week, taking care of the show. But I have returned, and it is another great episode of the Fresh Takes with Russo and Felice podcast.
Yeah,
as our winter sports have returned. All of them.
We're getting there. Yeah. We are
college basketball, but
ramping up a little bit across I guess really everything. Really,
Yeah.
Obviously, if you want to take a look at things, really hyper locally speaking, right? Sectionals are here for the fall sports for high schoolers. Winter sports in prep mode. And then, you mentioned, obviously, like on the pro side of things, NBA getting going tonight, which we'll discuss a little bit, obviously. And NHL's just gotten underway as well.
Yep.
And then, obviously, the football is still in full swing, collegiately and pro.
And the last time I was on this, we got on before the Yankees wild card game, and I never would have thought 2 weeks later we'd be talking about maybe an Aaron Boone, or not maybe, an Aaron Boone extension. So they did not win that wild card game, as you probably mentioned last week.
No. Yeah, we'll discuss probably playoffs really next week once, we kind of get through the NLCS and or ALCS as well.
World Series is expected to start a week from today. So.
Maybe a little bit earlier next week so we can get to watch that. But
we'll see how
either way.
Works, but
as you probably can expect of what we got on tap for tonight, obviously the football recaps and predictions for the weeks. And then probably most of our time discuss some NBA. So
can you believe it's week 7 college football already?
Well, no, it'd be week 8. Week 8 coming up, just past week 7, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. It's week 8.
Notre Dame had their bye this past week, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so.
Probably the least hyped up USC Notre Dame game in a while.
Yeah, I don't think either of the teams are pretty much where they thought they would be on the year. Obviously, USC was billed to be probably maybe not a dark horse, but, certainly a disruptor probably in the rankings. And obviously Notre Dame, I think everybody kind of thought that
but Cincinnati's good.
They'd be in the playoff conversation at least.
But Cincinnati's good.
Yeah.
They're good.
They're number 2 now in the country. So.
Yeah, Alabama, I see, didn't technically get back into the top 4.
Right.
But they were pretty much in the top 4 again before they even played
because of the Iowa loss. I'm a big fan of how people are and obviously this is probably something we can discuss at a different, not even so much later on, but a different podcast in general, right? Is how, do people not think that Alabama's still not one of the top 4 teams in the country, if not probably the top, 1 or number 2? Mm-hmm. Come on. They still are.
Yeah.
It happens. You have those games. It happens in any sport at any given time.
But maybe we'll even touch on it. Syracuse, if they had a decent team, they'd have a chance at the Heisman
No, they do have a decent team. They do. We'll discuss that, obviously, but, they do have a decent team.
I don't know. I think you got a future Syracuse running back on your fantasy team coming up here soon.
Be nice. Anyway, let's start in the NFL. Go get in and out, hopefully, of football pretty quick so we can discuss the NBA. Probably the most excited collectively me and Nick have been. Anyway. Let's start with the Bills game. Obviously, it's probably the freshest thing football-wise overall, stuff like that. I know me and Nick have had this conversation, not on the podcast this year. Holding calls across, and I'm gonna make this a broad umbrella first until we can get to the concentrated point. But holding calls as a whole this year, collegiately and professionally, have been really strangely called. Obviously, another local example at Syracuse and Florida State in that game. Look, you could call, in theory, holding on pretty much any play on the line, or really, I guess, any play in general. It doesn't necessarily have to be on the line. I just say line because that's what when I did play for my 1 year, I was on the line. And if that's the case, literally you'd be there all day. That being said, that holding call in my mind, or
on the kickoff,
or if you preferred where it would not be, whatever. Does it make that big of a difference? I mean, yeah, sure, I guess, right? I mean, obviously you get the touchdown. De facto speaking, probably ices the game to a degree. I think we all know that the skill set that Tannehill has and what the Titans had available. That being said, you have to play the ball as it lies at that point, right? And this is where I'm intrigued to hear your take, obviously. Normally I'm all for going for it in situations to, like the 4th and short call that McDermott drew up for Allen, what ended up being the final play for the Bills. And, I mean, in that situation, look, and this is I'm going to end up contradicting myself, obviously, here in the college side when we discuss the Syracuse game. But in that situation, you take the 3 points if you're McDermott and the Bills. You get to overtime / hold the Titans, right? I mean, I hate the whole entire blaming the ref thing going on. I always have. Look, I'm not going to sit here and act like the refs are innocent and they're perfect. They certainly aren't, okay? I mean, I'm one of the biggest proponents at this point of Major League Baseball trying to figure out something to do with their umpires. So, look, if you're the Bills and Bills fans, I don't think you can sit here at this point and realistically tell me that you thought you were going 16-1 on the season. Obviously going 16-0 after week 1. It's going to happen. It's either the Titans are a horrible team. I don't think they're at the level that we all probably thought they were going to be this year. But they're still a good team. Mm-hmm. They're probably a team that's going to end up winning that division when push comes to shove. And look, I mean, if you're a Bills fan or a member of the Bills, I don't think you can be that mad with the game overall. Again, Josh Allen showed what he's been able to accomplish and keep progressing to throughout that game. Certainly, in my mind, kind of padded his MVP status at the moment for the league. And, frankly, if you're a Bills fan, you want to take anything away from the game, it's the fact that maybe you do need a running back just the way you should look at what Derrick Henry just did to you. Right? If you're the Bills and you had a not even a running back like Derrick Henry, but at least an option like that you could do, I mean, you certainly become a truly unstoppable force, in my opinion. So, that being said, I don't think it's tough to pinpoint one exact thing and hinge it on something like that every now and then. But like I said, I'm contradicting myself to a degree coming up, so I'm gonna pause and we'll let you take over, Nick, on this subject.
I get why the Bills they went for it because the way that game was going, the way Derrick Henry was running, they didn't want it to come down to a coin flip,
right?
Because if the Titans had won, they felt like they could have just gone right down and got a touchdown in overtime to win it, which I still think should get changed. I think every team should get a chance to answer.
College rules.
Not the college rules where they start on the 25-yard line. But they should get a chance to answer whatever they put up in that first drive, I think. But, I don't like it. I think they should kick the field goal because, I had already won my fantasy matchup. I have Derrick Henry on my team. I would like to see him get out there on the field a little bit longer. But I think they should have kicked it because there's only 20 seconds left. They get that 1 yard there. They get at least to the end of the clock, but I don't know. I guess when you're a 4-1 Bills team coming into that game, I guess it's all right to do that because you just fall to 4-2. But it is a tough AFC, and you start losing some games, ones where you could have a shot, could come back to bite you. But no, the Bills, like you said, I know they weren't going to win 16 straight games after that week 1 loss against the Steelers, but it's a tough. You can't, just because you're the Bills and you're one of the best teams in the AFC, doesn't mean you're just going to go into Nashville and win that game. That's still a really tough place to play, tough place to get a win. And they had their shots. They went for it. They didn't get it. I think Josh Allen tripped on that. It looked like he tripped or slipped or whatever did on that QB sneak. It just didn't look good at all. And it cost the Titans won the game. Wasn't even close. Like, that's one of the more obvious shorts you ever see. He was clearly short of that line. And, that was one of the more entertaining games, to say the least. There was a lot of blowouts, I think, this week. Wasn't too many close games, but that was one of the more entertaining games. These primetime games have been pretty good this year. Not going to lie. But it's a weird world we're living in, seeing the Bills play on Sunday night one week and then Monday night the next. But
well, we did have one scoregami on the week.
Really?
We did, yes.
Who was it?
Oddly enough, it was your New York Giants lost to the Rams 38-11.
That's never happened.
Nope. Scoregami. Yeah, but you're right. I mean, you want to take a quick look at these scoreboards. Like, you bring up a good point, Nick. Ravens 34-6 over the Chargers. Colts 31-3. Yes, 31-3 over the Texans. Chiefs 31-13 over Washington. Obviously, to set the Rams-Giants score. Bengals 34-11. Victory over Detroit. I mean, it was an ugly week for football again, professionally. But hey, at least the primetime games kind of helped and saved.
Yeah, even though Seattle was getting beat.
When do we count the London game? Is that inverse primetime?
Yeah, I mean, it is at its own time slot.
Yeah.
I don't think they call it primetime, but I would call it primetime, yeah.
What do you think about the Jags getting in the win column finally?
They're kind of like the Lions. They've played well this year.
Yeah.
They've been in some games this year.
They definitely, specifically Trevor Lawrence, has gotten better.
Yes, and he's got some players on that team. James Robinson, Marvin Jones. He's got some young talents like Chenault, whatever his name is. Yeah. I think it's an up-and-coming team for sure. It's a team that just got a new coach. Urban Meyer's never coached in NFL. It's a whole different game. So it takes a while to learn this game, and it had been a long time since Jacksonville had won a ball game, but it was nice to see them get the win. Miami's been kind of one of the more disappointing. I knew Tua missed a lot of weeks there. Brissett didn't do as great, but they've been one of the more disappointing teams this year. Miami, they were supposed to be up there, giving the Bills a run for their money in the division,
right?
And it hasn't worked out for them this year. Obviously, going all the way over to London does not. I mean, I think they were the road team, but does not. It's tough to go over there and win, but. They got to start winning some games, especially in the AFC. AFC really, really tough. So, I don't know. They got to figure it out. Tua's back. Definitely they looked a lot better, I would say, with Tua back. So, I don't know. Jacksonville's played well over in London.
And then, obviously, yeah, I mean, I think Miami's got to be probably one of, not the biggest disappointments so far on the year. That being said, obviously you have to give a lot of kudos to Urban Meyer. But yeah, Trevor Lawrence, like I said, he's been constantly improving throughout the year. And you're right, there's skill guys on that team that can play.
I hate to say it, not to interrupt. I hate to say it. You Russos, I think the Washington team.
Oh yeah, we are a disappointment.
I think you two might be the two biggest disappointments in the NFL this year.
Another disappointment to a degree. Baker Mayfield getting hurt kind of sounds like it might be a major deal.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
And they've already lost the running backs.
Yeah, so it's just a tough deal. I think one of the big things I saw today was how people think that Baker's not the answer for Cleveland. And look, you know what you got with Baker. I think he can get it done, just needs the right pieces around him. And to be honest, I mean, if you're a Browns fan, why would you want to take a shot at another quarterback again, right? When you know Baker's good enough to get the job done. You got pieces around there going to get the job done. Just you have to kind of let the process work a little bit, right? I mean, it's tough. I mean, the way it sounds like he's getting a second opinion on his shoulder and arm. I don't know. I've heard
stuff. Who's the backup?
Case Keenum. So somebody who's been in the league, obviously, right? Obviously had a magical run with the Vikings now a handful of years ago. I don't think all hope is lost for the Browns at this point, in the season speaking, but you never really know, I suppose. It's just unfortunate. I mean, I think, I'm probably really, obviously out of us two, the bigger of the Baker Mayfield fans.
It's better than any other quarterback they've had in a long, long time.
I mean, maybe he's no Tim Couch, but no. By the way, you know where Tim Couch went to college, right?
No.
Oh, wow. What a shame. Kentucky, but...
Were they good?
Probably not as good as they are now.
I don't think they're very good now.
Anyway, though, obviously a dogfight's going on, benching the primetime games, an injury-filled teams with the Steelers and Seahawks. Steelers, survive that overtime battle. And other than that, the Jets had the bye this week, so can't really discuss anything going on there New York-wise. So let's move on to predictions, I suppose, unless you have any closing thoughts. So more buys this week. I know the Bills have their bye week this week. So
a lot of buys this week, it seems like.
I know in one of my fantasy leagues, and I wasn't there for this draft, admittedly, so I had no technical control over it. But all four of my major skill positions, the 2 running backs and the 2 wideouts, are on buys this week. 6-0. I think it will be 6-1 come this time next week.
Buys run a long time this year too. It's week 14.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So, week 7, Thursday night football. Broncos at the Browns.
Ooh, the battle of the bees.
Yeah. Yeah. This is gonna be a tough one here for Cleveland, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm gonna take Denver just because Cleveland's hurt.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think Denver coming in. Cleveland, in theory, only has 48 hours of rest, technically, when you think about it. So,
and this is one of those games. Cleveland, if they wanted to make a push,
right?
They would win this game.
This is where you hope you would have a healthy Baker and at least one of your running backs fully healthy, but they just don't. No more. I believe they're done with the London games this year, right? Or isn't there one more?
There's no more 9:30 games.
Yeah,
there might be. They might play a night one. It's like 1 o'clock. Or
yeah. Here. So no early morning trips to Lago for anybody here. 1 o'clock. Chiefs at Titans.
Chiefs at Titans. Mm-hmm. I got the Chiefs.
So this might be your why. I'm going Titans here.
Ooh.
Obviously Kansas City got a nice win. At that same token, though, they still have not looked like the Chiefs of old. And the Titans have this nice little momentum sweep coming in from the victory last night.
I do expect Derrick Henry to have a great game in that one as well.
So I'm going that route. I'm gonna go Tennessee. Yeah. Bengals at the Ravens. Battle for pretty much the top of the NFC North, as we all expected.
At Baltimore, I just don't see the Bengals going in there. It's going to be a great game for them. It's been a long time since the Bengals had a big game like this. But I got the Ravens winning.
I'm going Ravens as well. Washington at Green Bay. Yeah, you really leaned in on the camera there for the hot second.
Washington at Green Bay.
I'm going Green Bay. Case closed. Don't do this because it's no sense.
Does he own you?
He does. He's gonna own us.
I'm going with relax and the Rodgers.
Yep.
The Packers.
Panthers at the Giants. Sam Darnold makes his return to East Rutherford.
I got the Panthers.
So, in a weird way, if the Giants' offensive line was fully healthy, I would be taking the Giants, I think. The fact of the matter is they aren't. I feel really bad for Danny Jones back there.
Yeah.
So I'm taking the Panthers as well. But we're probably only about 2 positions away from me probably really actually taking the Giants, though.
You're about 2 more positions from getting hurt to being on the Giants.
Yeah, that's a fair point as well. Falcons at the Dolphins.
Who are you going with?
I'm going to go Falcons.
Survived this pick because I'm going Falcons as well.
It's going to be tough. Miami doesn't have the bye coming off of the London game, which is really weird. Normally they do.
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
But yeah, I mean they're reeling pretty bad right now. Tua definitely I don't think is playing at 100%. I think it's one of those you're close enough. We're going to play a type deals.
I got the Falcons.
And Atlanta is coming off a bye week. So I think there's a lot of factors playing against the Dolphins.
Strange. They're coming off a bye and they're coming off a London game.
Right.
How is that fair?
I don't know. Jets at the Patriots. Jets coming off their bye week, obviously.
It don't matter if they went on vacation for a month. Who are they playing?
The Patriots.
At the Patriots. Patriots have been in a lot of games, but they're not pulling out these wins.
Already the second of the 2 matchups against each team this year. So
wow. The Jets win that one? No, it was the Titans.
The Patriots did. This one might be your why. I'm gonna go with the Jets. Yeah.
Why, Paul?
Yeah.
Why would you go with the Jets?
I kind of like
at New England.
I like what the Jets have been doing the past couple games that they've played. They don't look as awful, and to be honest, the Patriots do not look good.
I don't think the Jets have won in Foxborough since the can't wait.
Yeah, so
have they?
I mean,
really? Can you look up the stats? Have they won since that game?
Yeah. So that being said, I'm gonna go with the Jets. I'm gonna zig while you zag on this one. But
I'm off the Jets bandwagon.
after sweating through the New England Houston game, I just they aren't good. You can't trust them. I'll put it that way. You can't trust them.
Yeah. I picked the Patriots.
Okay.
I did the why. I said why.
Yeah, but you usually still say your pick after. It's all right. First of the 4 o'clockers, Eagles at the Raiders.
I got the Raiders. They bounced back last week. It's nice to see. I wish they would start throwing to Darren Waller 19 times a game again, but Eagles, I think, are just.
They definitely played better than I thought they were going to, given the situation going around.
I like them at home.
I think this is because I have them on fantasy, and I might be buying too much. Yeah, might be buying too much into them. I'm gonna go Eagles though.
Okay, it's a tough road game.
Yeah. All right. Rams are hosting Detroit. Detroit, couple more heartbreakers going on.
Oh, Rams are hosting Detroit. Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought he was going back to Detroit.
Nah. The Goff Revenge Tour game.
So Goff's coming home.
The Goff is coming home.
Yeah. Well, he'll come by, say hi.
He might be benched by the end of this game, depending upon. I mean, I don't know if you saw what Dan Campbell pretty much said. So.
No, I didn't. What did he say?
Goff needs to pick it up.
I got the Rams.
Whoa!
The Rams.
Goff's team to win now.
I got the Rams in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Rams as well. First of the 4 25s, Bears at the Buccaneers.
Does Tom Brady own the Bears?
I think he's going to this week.
I agree. I think Tampa Bay is just weapon-wise, just too loaded.
Texans at the Cardinals.
Well, a lot of people are picking this as their last man standing. I've seen that on ESPN, but
I think there are a couple different options you could kind of go this week with that. But
the Cardinals are undefeated.
Yep,
the last undefeated team. I don't see the Houston Texans being that team to knock them off.
Neither do I.
I got Kyler and the boys.
Sunday Night Football, Colts at 49ers.
Colts at 49. Colts again.
You're not going to like Monday Night Football then.
I remember isn't it Seahawks New Orleans?
Yeah.
Well,
it's New Orleans and Seattle.
Oh wait, what's this one?
I digress.
Colts and who?
Colts and 49ers.
I got the 49ers.
I'm a 49ers as well. I kind of like that game for last man potential. So. And then Saints and Seahawks.
Seahawks need it.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Michael Thomas, I don't think he's coming back.
Like we all expected, a Jameis-Geno Smith battle to really turn seasons around.
I'm going Saints just because I don't trust Geno.
See, I'm leaning that way too, but the same token, can you really trust Jameis?
No. But you can trust Jameis like every other 3
The
games.
only reason I'm gonna take the Seahawks is because they're in Seattle. I think that will make a difference somehow.
Can I get a water break?
Sure, yeah, why not?
This is the first time I've ever left the podcast mid-pod.
All right, well, let me get my face. All right, Nick just left on his own.
Hype up the college football.
I'll do my best. Nick just walked off, so who knows where this will go. Anyway, college football, yeah, I mean, this, man, Cuse. What are we going to do with you? Drop that game, 17-14. I mean, I don't know. DeVito's in the transfer portal. Just like what I said, I mean, I will contradict myself by taking this is where I really need Nick here for the comedic timing of this one. But, I mean, I really want Nick's back so I can perfectly comedically time this out. This is where, Nick, I was going to contradict myself because you play to go and win. You don't play for the tie. And Dino Babers coached for the tie at the conclusion of the game Friday night against Clemson.
Yes, he did. I watched it.
Called the timeout. Andre Schmidt, who at one point was the best kicker in the country, misses the field goal.
You were there.
I don't know. This is now the second straight game in a row where, and look, I've never been at the Carrier Dome or any sporting venue, period, watching the same team play where the mood has 180'd so quickly in back-to-back situations.
Yeah,
I mean, it's just like I'm convinced Dino's just trying to get fired.
Yeah, you've been going to all these games, man, and just heartbreaker after heartbreak. And I'd really love to hear what kind of soundtrack you're playing on the way home and the drive home. And depressing enough, or is it sad?
Well, so I've been listening to, not to get off topic, but I've been trying to listen to stuff that gets me like laughing again. And there's this really good podcast I like called The Dollop, and it's still like American history, but they take the comedic side of it, which I mean, I know you won't like, but I find it hilarious.
Why would I like that?
Because I don't think you find the Battle of Hayes Pond to be funny. You don't even know what the Battle of Hayes Pond is, do you?
Nope.
That's okay. That's a different podcast for a different series. Back to you.
Oh, about the game.
Yeah.
Yes. You know, it's you gotta keep in mind though, Clemson and Syracuse. Syracuse always plays them tough.
All right.
Even when Clemson was, top of the line, top of the league, but Syracuse always plays them tough. I don't know if it's Syracuse or it's Dino, or
it's definitely the coaching.
They've always played them tough, and
I see what you're saying now.
And obviously, you remember, was it 4 years ago when they knocked off Clemson?
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the best wins Syracuse football in a while. And that wasn't their good season, though, right? Their good season came the next year, I think. Syracuse is like 10.
You're talking about when they beat Clemson in the Dome that Friday night?
That was their 10-3 season, or no? I think it was the next year.
It was the next year.
I think it got a momentum for next year. Yeah. But obviously, you expect to make that kick, though. If you're Syracuse, but
I expect them to make better decisions. Like, oh my gosh.
I hear Tommy DeVito is transferring now.
He is. He is in the portal.
Where's he going?
I've seen Mississippi as a possible option. No. Taj Harris is.
So is he done with Syracuse?
Yeah, Taj Harris coincidentally is also visiting Ole Miss this week.
I wonder what that relationship is.
I've heard Tommy DeVito. I've heard Mississippi tied to him.
What's his relationship with Dino right now?
Who?
Tommy DeVito. Does he not like him?
Probably not good.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll put it to you this way: Taj at least called out Dino in his statement, and DeVito did not.
Who's Taj?
Taj Harris, wideout.
He left too.
Yeah. There's a lot, and I mean, I don't want to dwell on this too much, but I think if there's anything that the past couple main scandals have taught us about the Syracuse Athletic Department is I think there's an issue within the department somewhere along the line. Obviously, the stuff with the women's program and the men's lacrosse program. So, I'm not obviously saying or wishing or anything like that Dino and his staff are awful people. But at this point, I have a hard time believing outside of probably, I'd say out of the major programs, so like men's basketball, at this point like women's soccer and softball, and then the other fringe programs, right? I think they're good. I think their cultures are good enough, whatever, right? I don't know what's going on with like the department as a whole, and then the other bigger programs, right? Mm-hmm. Look, I know fans are upset. I mean, it's not that difficult to figure out when you're in the stands. So, like I said, I'm not trying to wish ill will or anything like that. But it's certainly, I think, a plausible theory to kind of wonder at this point if there's a bigger issue at hand overall.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's another story. Yeah. But with this transfer portal now, you're going to see it a lot more often. So, a guy doesn't like his spot on his team. Guy who's been like DeVito, who's been a starter on this team, even though hasn't been the fans' number one favorite, but he's been the star of this team, and he feels like this is his team. And then all of a sudden, Schrader comes in. I think clearly the better quarterback, and obviously that's not going to run well with him. So he's out of here. He's going to go find another team. I think every athlete in college nowadays has an extra year of eligibility because of COVID. Mm-hmm. I think they eventually give it to everybody now.
Correct. Everybody, if you were in school during during the pandemic years, they're calling it.
You get an extra year of eligibility. Yes. So everyone's going to take that.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you got to go to school still, but it's good. It's going to be a rough final weeks of the season here for Syracuse, but future.
It doesn't have to be rough though. That's the thing with that. It doesn't have to be rough.
The future is definitely on hold with Dino and
right.
Everyone else on this team. Who knows what this Syracuse team's gonna look like next year? But they do have a great running back,
Sean Tucker, baby.
If he's still, I think, the leading rusher in college right now. Mm-hmm. If he was on a good team, he'd be up for the Heisman. Like, I'm not saying
he's on a good team.
He's on a good team, but record-wise,
yes.
If they were a good
just
team.
A bad coached team.
But, he's very good. I think he's going to be in the pros someday. Be good for the university to have a pro running back like that come out of there. Mm-hmm. He's done a great job.
Right.
What is he? Junior?
He might be a sophomore technically. I'd have to double check that.
Yeah, it's whatever.
But quick thoughts: Purdue upsetting Iowa the way that they did.
Well, Purdue did this a couple years ago. Ohio State, I think that was in way bigger fashion. I think it was at Purdue and it was a blowout and whatever. But Purdue's done this before. Purdue's a pesky team. The Big Ten's tough. If you really thought you were gonna, that shows you how good Ohio State really is. They just run through the Big Ten like it's nothing.
Sean Tucker is actually technically a freshman.
Oh, wow. So he can't go pro. So Purdue's done this. Big Ten's tough to go undefeated. Especially a school like Iowa that hasn't been as successful in college football in a while. To just run up and win the whole Big Ten undefeated. Now they're going to be fighting because now they know they can't lose again. Or they're probably done. So they're going to need some help to get back in the mix. It's going to be tough to get Alabama to lose again. But they're going to have to play Georgia. Alabama is going to have to play Georgia if they want to get in the college football playoff. They're going to have to beat them now because of that loss to Texas A&M. Mm-hmm. I think if they lose to Georgia, they might be out because of what all these other teams are doing now. Oklahoma's interesting, I think, with the quarterback switch. Great switch. It's amazing that Spencer Rattler was up for the Heisman first week of the season.
Right. Now he might be entering the portal.
He's definitely going to. And a lot of teams would be interested in him because how projected he was supposed to be, how good he was supposed to be. So That's an interesting situation. But yeah, it's going to be wild this year. I think with Alabama losing to Texas A&M, that gives teams hope that they can potentially win a national championship this year. It's not just Alabama's.
Right.
Georgia, you can never count on because when's the last time they won a national championship? Forever. So I think it's going to be wild this year. I think there's teams like Cincinnati. Cincinnati's number 2 now. They legit have a shot to win the national championship in college football.
I told you to watch out for the Bearcats, baby.
I just didn't think they'd get this much respect. I thought they'd be like 6 or 7 right now. People be jumping over them. But they're number 2. They're right there. They scheduled Notre Dame. They got the win. They're obviously rooting for Notre Dame. They want them to look great.
Throttled UCF last weekend. So
yeah, UCF. That's what sucks about UCF. When they were good, I think they were good when it was 4 though, right? UCF, they were good when it was 4. When Boise State and TCU were good, it was only 2, and they were like around 3-4, and they just wouldn't let them in. But Cincinnati is not them. Cincinnati is part of the American, right?
Yep.
So I mean that's a decent conference.
The expanding American.
Yeah, it's not like it's the Mountain West.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Wow.
No, it's all right.
First of all, how dare you? Boise's still there.
Yeah. And Boise
BYU
still hasn't gotten a shot.
BYU's a proxy member, even though they're an independent.
Anyway, Cincinnati's got a shot if they just stay strong.
All right. Speaking of strong, I believe, Nick, for the first time, game day since 2018 is going out west. They're going to be at Oregon, UCLA.
Yeah, like I said, I think I said at the beginning of the show, probably the least hyped up USC Notre Dame game this week. Crazy.
Yeah, games of note from the college side. There's not a really big ton of ranked note games. Syracuse is at Virginia Tech. I think it's a 3:30 game if I remember right. Other than that, though, there's no head-to-head ranked matchups this week.
Really?
Closest one I think technically that we got is probably actually Oregon UCLA, which is why game day's going there. But you mentioned, Nick, yeah, other than that, I mean, this isn't exactly a very hype-up week overall. Yeah. That being said, some of these weeks usually end up being the chaos weeks, right? Yeah. Ohio State's in Indiana this week. Probably going to be still a tough game for Ohio State, even though that they'll, win. But games like that, Clemson's at Pitt. Pitt right now, probably certainly the best team.
And Clemson's not playing good anywhere.
Yeah. So
you can see an upset there.
You never know. That's why you play the game.
Yeah. Speaking of games.
Yes, sir. Sorry, I had a little bit of a thing there. Nick, it's your favorite season. And I can actually say that, though, for a change, because your Knicks are good.
Yes. You don't have to be the one that predicts them to be good this year.
Yeah, so the NBA is officially tipped off. They're underway tonight, first 2 games. Nets are at the Bucks right now as we speak. And then who is it? Is it Lakers?
Warriors at Lakers.
Yeah.
Nets are down 112-95.
How about that?
With 5:50 to go.
So this offseason was pretty interesting in my opinion because obviously you have the Ben Simmons saga, but there's a lot of other stuff going on. Some moving, some shaking, some tampering cases. And still a fairly shorter turnaround to get to where we are today. Obviously, in my mind, the team that obviously made the most, can't even really say the most moves, but the most noteworthy moves are the Lakers. And that's just because of the names associated with the team, right? Carmelo is going to finally play with LeBron.
Yeah. After all these years.
Exactly. Rondo goes back. Howard goes back. So it'll be interesting there. Obviously, isn't DeAndre Jordan there?
Yep. Trevor Reeves is there.
Yeah. Avery Bradley.
Obviously, Russell Westbrook.
Westbrook goes there, yeah. Another trade. Westbrook on his, 4th team in 5 years? Something like that.
Something crazy.
Obviously, the Kyrie noise. A lot to do this offseason, really overall, right? Obviously, the Bulls are in the news. People think they're going to be really good. We can get into that portion of it really more prediction side of things, but I'd say compared to obviously the past couple off seasons, obviously the last off season, it was quiet. Obviously, a quieter one because of everything going on. So being thrust into the pandemic like we were at the time, and everything that came with it, and the bubble. So Nick, with this off season, was it surprising you some of the moves? I guess in essence, right? Because like I said, obviously the Lakers do this reload thing where it's pretty much just a bunch of older guys. They don't bring in anything shooting-wise that they really need. And then you have teams, like I said, the Sixers aren't able to make the moves that they wanted to get rid of Ben Simmons. The Nets now are stuck in this quagmire with Kyrie. Obviously your Knicks, in what has now gone to be a quiet move only because of everything going on, bringing Kemba Walker. This offseason, how does it stack up for you the past couple that we've been able to remember? Because like I said, this is where everything kind of went with the pandemic and kind of moving through that. It certainly seemed like it was heightened this past offseason.
Another move, as you brought up my team, I'll bring up your team. Another move that kind of went under it was Colorado going to the Heat and giving them another piece of their team because they're expected to make a push this year as well in the Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference that's gotten better. Yep. I personally, I know I'm biased towards Laker hate because I don't care for the Lakers at all. But I personally, Paul, I don't know what your opinion is. I personally think it's not going to work. I think they got way too many veteran guys on the team. It's one thing to have veteran leadership, but the whole team's old. The whole team is, they've been in the league a long time, but I don't know. It's just not going to work. And obviously, I know we're not the biggest fans of these guys. I like Melo. He did a great job for the Knicks. Got us to the playoffs there a few years. But him and Russell Westbrook are just not championship caliber players. They're not going to win you championships, especially in the tough West. Talk about the East has gotten better. The whole league has gotten better. Young team like the Sacramento Kings needs to get some love this year because they might be making the playoffs for the first time since 2001.
Yeah, but they're now back in the news.
What happened?
Oh, you didn't see what happened between them and Marvin Bagley, did you?
No.
Oh, yeah, they're not playing him.
No. I wonder if I drafted him. Anyway.
Did I take him?
I feel like I was interested in him, but
I know I was.
Yeah, I don't think the Lakers are going to compete. Not sure when Klay Thompson's going to be back here, I think before Christmas. Something like that. Kawhi Leonard's out a while. Forgot about that. But it's just not even that. I'm not high in Dallas, but they're not bad. Utah, Denver, Portland, these teams, Golden State, these teams are going to be tough. It's going to be a tough West. The Suns. I don't know where the Lakers fall. I just don't see them coming out of the Western Conference. LeBron's just clearly not the same player that he was once was. So I don't think he can lead a team. And when's the last time Anthony Davis has been healthy for an entire season? When is
That's
it?
a beyond true
statement. Even LeBron last few years has been hurt every
right.
single year. And it's just the age.
They seem to be longer and longer absences too.
Yeah, the age is just catching up to him and all these guys, and I don't know. I don't think it's gonna work.
It's our youth.
You're gonna find out tonight a little bit when they host the Warriors. But I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna work.
As you bring it up, right? Whole year Steph Curry for the Warriors.
Yep, and Klay Thompson will be back. Obviously, it's gonna take some time. I do like my Knicks. They brought most of the team back. I think they improved in the spots that they lost. Reggie Bullock is now Evan Fournier. Elfrid Payton is now Kemba Walker. So I think they improved a lot. I think Derrick Rose got shot 6th man of the year this year. I like the Knicks. I like them a lot. I think the Heat are good, Paul. The team that's not good, that people think is good, I think it's got playing game at best. Hear me out, Paul. Playing game at best is the Boston Celtics. Okay. I don't see.
I tend to agree with you.
How they finish top 6. How in the world are they top 6? They are a playing game at best because you got the Nets and the Bucks. They'll be in there. Then if you're talking about our Heat and Knicks are in there. And there's the hot young Hawks. Obviously, Philly probably not going to play without. They're probably not going to play with Ben Simmons much this year. Mm-hmm. They need to trade him, or they could fall back.
Just get something.
Yeah, they need to get rid of him. Got to get something because they're not going to get better if they just lose him.
Wow.
Chemistry wise, well, but yeah, and then you just know there's teams like in the mix. They think the Bulls have gotten better. They've built a team to think they can make the top 6. The Hornets, I'm not too high on the Hornets, but they're young. The Pacers are always solid. The Wizards got some players on that team. I don't know if they can get out of the play-in, but they got some players on that team like Bradley Beal. They had in the Lakers bums there, Kuzma and Harrell. But they got like Bertans, a nice young shooter. Yeah, so the East has gotten better. Detroit's got the Cade Cunningham kid. I don't know how they're going to play this year. Another team I didn't even mention the West, Memphis, Ja Morant. That's a good young team right there as well. Zion, man. Zion. I have surgery. Did you hear that?
You have surgery?
Who?
You have surgery?
No, Zion.
Oh, it's not like you said I have surgery.
No, did you hear Zion might need surgery?
Yeah, I did. Not surprised, but...
Yeah, how many times are we going to watch Pelicans on ESPN this year? I mean, come on. Take them off the screen. Spurs, we'll see where they're going this year. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a good year. And another team you kind of forget about, Paul, is they're back home, Toronto.
Yep.
I don't know where they fall in the East. I really don't know. You forget about them because they weren't very good last year because I think it may have been the whole Tampa thing. I don't know, trying to find the image of this new team they got with Siakam, and now they lost Lowry. I don't know where they stand. They're an interesting team because I have no idea where they stand in this East. And I don't know. It should be fun. Hawks, Knicks on Christmas Day. Ready for it? We're back on Christmas Day. I think there's a little bit of a rivalry there with Trae Young versus the Garden. I don't know. It should be fun. Paul, what are your thoughts? Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm excited. You know, obviously, like you said, the Heat go get me wrapped in a little bit more than usual. But, yeah, I mean, you bring up a lot of good points, right? I don't – like, for instance, with the Bulls. Like, the Bulls are a really weirdly constructed team. I don't know, like, really where – people think they're going to just be a top 3 seed, like some people think. Like, I don't see where that's going to happen.
A lot of people think they're right behind the Nets,
right?
And the Bucks.
And I don't buy into that, not one bit. In my mind, I still probably have the Pacers above them in the grand scheme of things. And then out west is going to be interesting. You know, I'm jotting down, you know, things really quick, right?
I know you're a big Utah guy.
And well, yeah. But, like, when you think about it, like, there's going to be some tough, I think, decisions here going on, especially when you get to that play-in area.
Yeah, it's only top 6 now. Get the bye.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be tough. You know, that being said, you bring up the surgeries and stuff like that. Somebody's getting slept on. Kawhi's going to be out for a while. Borderline, some people think, for the whole year. The Clippers, as they're presently constructed, can Paul George lead that team? I don't think so. I know a lot of people kind of predict him to be like a dark horse MVP candidate. I think that's you really hoping that your fandom proves out for you. I don't see where it's possible, to be honest. At least with the Clippers anyway, being, you know, a top tier team. That being said, I think, you know, they probably squeak into the play-in. But I don't know. I don't see where they quite fit in. You know, I don't know. It's gonna be an interesting deal.
Yeah.
Let's do a quick prediction thing here before we get out of here. MVP. Who do you think is gonna win MVP this year?
Who do I think is going to win MVP this year? It's trying to think of a team that's going to be up on the rise this year. Off the top of my head, I'm just thinking. Off the top of my head. I can't think of one off the top of my head.
I'm going rogue on mine. This might be one of the hottest takes I've ever had on here. I'm going DeAndre Ayton.
You know what's weird?
I think he has the way everything is broken up with the contract, the way everything is, and he's not the type of guy to kind of waltz through something. I think he's going to play with a lot of MF in him this season. And I would not want to be on the receiving end of that if I'm an opposing player. I'm on Ayton MVP.
I got crazy here. I had two names pop in my head. I think Jokic can run it back.
Okay.
But
he was the other one I was kind of leaning towards, if anything.
Here's the other one I'm thinking. Chris Paul, Phoenix Suns.
Really?
Same team, which is weird. I think Chris Paul got some consideration. Not really, but he did.
Right.
But if they run it back again, maybe get the 1 seed, someone's going to be up for it on that team.
The only reason why I'm going to do this one is because I think he does get it this year. I'm going Coach of the Year. I'm going Tom Thibodeau.
I'm going Coach of the Year, and I think Thibodeau runs it back.
All right.
Because I think they can be better than this year. And if they're that much better, you got to give it to them again.
Right. All right. I don't know if you have anything written down. I did have my playoff team, so I think so. Then, so I'll run through those quick. Out of the East, and these are going to be in order for what I think. I'm going Bucks, Nets, Sixers, Heat, Pacers, Knicks. Your top 6. And then in the play-in, I have Hawks, Bulls. Even though I'm not high on them, and I don't fully understand why people are all jumping on them, I'm going to go Hornets. And this is my really, I think, true wild card on really both sides here. I'm going Wizards.
Ooh.
On the other side.
I like the Wizards.
Yeah. And then out west, I'm going Nuggets, Jazz, Warriors, Suns, Lakers, Mavericks, your top 6 in the play-in. I'm going Grizzlies, Clippers, Blazers, and then another wild card guy here who I don't think it's as much as the Wizards, but I think it's a big put up or shut up from this team this year. I'm going the Timberwolves.
Ooh. I'm going to go favorite, and then I don't have them, but I'll go favorite and sleeper team. My favorite in the East is, I think, the Nets. Even with they'll realize without Kyrie, they're a better team. Sleeper in the East, I'm going to go with not really sleeper like they're like the Wizards and they pop out, or like the Cavs or something like that.
Right.
I'm going to go sleeper. Indiana Pacers actually become one of the legit teams this year. I think they're going to sleep. They're going to get the top 6 this year. I think the Pacers, maybe 5, 6.
We're both in agreement on that, then.
Yeah. Favorite in the West. I think favorite in the West. I think favorite in the West is going to be the Denver Nuggets.
Right.
I think the Denver Nuggets. What seed did you have them at?
I'm at the 1.
Well, yeah. Okay. I think Denver Nuggets. I think if Jamal Murray stays healthy, that's a huge loss when he goes down. You got to stay healthy. And I think you guys can figure it out who my sleeper is. I think the Sacramento Kings are going to be the sleeper this year in the West. I think they're going to sadly make the playoffs before the Mariners. But that's my predictions.
All right. And then I'm just going to give my finals prediction. I think it's Nets, Nuggets in the final. And then I'm going to go Nuggets still winning it all.
Okay. I'll be rooting for obviously rooting for the Heat. I'll be rooting for the Knicks. But on this show, I'll predict Nets. I think Nets and the Warriors.
All right.
Nets win it.
All right. Nothing wrong with that.
I don't want that to happen. But, that's
so obviously what everybody should do is take our predictions and run out to Del Lago or Turning Stone or your nearest casino of choice that has legalized sports betting and make those picks. So that being said, takes the end of the show. Appreciate everybody for tuning in and listening and watching, whether it's live or after the fact. Nick, who are you shouting out today?
I'm going to shout out my brother, Matt. It's his birthday on Sunday.
That's right.
Happy birthday, Matt. He is, do I need to say it on the show how old he is?
You can say how old.
Hey, he is 28 years old.
He will be. He will be 28.
He will be 28 years old. And,
exiting the Mike Trout year and entering the Raul Ibanez year.
He's 18 months older than me. My sister's birthday was back on October 10th. Mm-hmm. She's 18 months younger than me.
Well, you are the true middle child in essence.
Yes. So shout out Matt. Happy birthday. Go.
Hopefully we go do something at some point this weekend. Obviously, so
take it home, ball.
Yeah. So obviously, like I said, appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe, all the fun stuff. Nick, I got nothing else, so I'm going to go ahead and slide the thing over. We'll catch everybody next week on the Fresh Takes Podcast.